All right, it looks like we're live once again. Thank you so much for joining me today, whoever you may be. And give me a second while I share this out and do my normal sort of cross promotional little magic here. Let's see. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go here. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about improvising and adapting, as you can see. And so let's see, go to the page, find the live stream. I'm improvising and adapting now, in fact. I want to share this. So I want to start a watch party here. I also want to share it to my profile. And let's share it to a group, shall we? There we go. All right. So the reason I chose improvising and adapting today is because I had a scheduling double book that then created a confusion with the guest I thought I had today, who in fact I have on Thursday. And just a quick shout out, his name is Rob SAYLES, and we're going to talk about how to scale your agency. But that left me with no one on deck for today. So got to improvise, got to adapt, right? I wanted to reach out and talk to you guys, but I didn't have a guest, and I was all geared up for a guest. And well, guessed what? There's no guest. There's no guest today. And so what I thought I'd talk a little bit about then was I would talk a little bit about what I've been working on behind the scenes. We could consider this sort of a check-in with everything that's been happening for me behind the scenes, like a documentation of my journey kind of thing. Now, when, hey, Rob, when the coronavirus first hit, I at first got very scared, like I think many of us did. And I didn't know what to do. So selling things felt tone deaf to me. It felt off. It felt wrong. And so what I decided I would do is I would focus on bringing you quality content. And that's what this interview series that started off as the Quarantine All-Stars and has shifted over to the Manny Wolf Show came from. This desire to bring you high caliber guests who are teaching you high value things, you know, and the idea was learning from the best on house arrest, right? Well, as time has gone by, I don't think house arrest is all that funny anymore. You know what I mean? And I don't want to talk about the Quarantine All-Stars. I don't want to talk about the quarantine any more than I have to, because for me, it's getting very, very trying. It's getting very, very serious as far as I'm concerned. And it's very, very hard to watch and be in this situation where it seems like to choose to stay home is to choose to participate in decimating the economy, or to choose to need the economy open is to choose to participate in, you know, senseless death of millions of people. And that's a little bit of a Sophie's choice, isn't it? What I've found is that while a lot of things have shifted, it isn't quite that cut and dry. There are people losing their jobs, and that really pisses me off. It really makes me upset. But there are also people flocking to new ways to make money. There are people shifting en masse from whole sectors of the economy into other sectors and into creation of their own thing, and into, for instance, you know, moving their side hustle to being their full gig, into finally doing that coaching service that they've been wanting to do, into finally writing that book. So I guess it really depends on how you look at it, because it's definitely a trying and difficult and crazy time. But what I'm seeing from my perspective, from my little bench, my little chair, my little seat, is that there's so much good stuff happening too. Now, I in no way advocate for keeping things closed, by the way. That's where I come down on this. I am not a let's keep it closed person. I am a personal responsibility, personal accountability, make sure you're safe person. That's my perspective on this. But that having been said, what I'm seeing is a lot of adaptation and a lot of improvising. which is what we're about today. This is what this conversation is about. I'm seeing people finally pull the trigger on things they've been waiting on a long time. Again, like writing books, making their side hustle their main hustle, moving from employee to self-employed, and wonderful. I think those things are wonderful, wonderful things like that. Now, here's what's interesting about this. The economy was inevitably going to shift anyway as autonomous labor, meaning, computers and robots and stuff like that, becomes more and more prevalent. We're going to have to find ways to be of service, to be useful, to create value for people that are not the traditional ways. We're going to have to do this. This is forcing the issue for sure. And it's creating a lot of discomfort for a lot of people, but there's no way around this unless you have some sort of a secret plan to, I don't know, stop the halt of progress. I mean, stop the march of progress, right? Halt the march of progress. Unless you've got some sort of secret plan to, sort of like Trump originally promised to take us back to the good old days of coal or something, then this is happening. This is what's coming. It's on the horizon. And so what I'm seeing as a result of the pandemic lockdown virus situation is that a lot of people are saying, okay, well, now's the time for me. I've got to jump. I've got to start figuring out what is the new thing I'm doing. And, seldom does mass change come about without tremendous discomfort, right? Amanda says it's not done yet. It is the start to a major shift, and I could not agree more. I could not agree more with that. And we never have huge shifts in consciousness without a massive tightening first, a massive constriction, a massive level and period of discomfort. So that never happens like that. So I guess what I'm wanting to do is offer you a little bit of solace in this. I'm wanting to offer you a little bit of it's really unprecedented. It's scary. There are bad parts to this, but this is not all bad. I think we're going to come back better. I think we're going to come out of this with the biggest single surge in entrepreneurial activity that we've ever seen. I believe that. I believe that it's not going to be in the top 3 or in the top 5 or anything like that. I think that we are ramping up. We're tightening. We're stretching the rubber band back for the biggest release of entrepreneurial and creative energy, literally, that the world has ever seen. That's my prediction. That's what I'm saying. So much of that creativity, much of that entrepreneurial sort of, what would you call that? Like zeitgeist, right? That entrepreneurial sort of focus is going to be in the online space. And so what I'd like to talk to you about are some ways that you can start to, or continue to, or get better at what you're doing in the online space. I want to talk to you about something that is one of my areas of passion, interest, and dare I say expertise, that a lot of people don't know about, and that's how to reach a big audience. Now, you're watching this video now, and I can't tell, there are probably only a handful of you at this point, but you'll see if you were to come back a week from now, you'll see that this video will have anywhere from, let's say, Caroline says, I love the prediction, biggest bounce back. Yeah, I'm convinced of that. Let's say that if you come back a week from now and check in on this video, it's going to be anywhere from 2,000 to 7,000 views of this thing. Now, how am I doing that? Your videos don't get 2,000 to 7,000 views, right? I mean, they don't. You get a few hundred and you think you really rocked it out. How am I getting thousands of eyes on this interview or this conversation? How do I get thousands of eyes on my other interviews? How do I do that? And more importantly, what's the value of that? So let's talk about how I do it, but let's talk about the value first. The value is simple. The more people who know you, the more people you will have that feel like they like you. The more people you have that feel like they like you, the more people you will have that trust you. The larger the number of people that trust you, the easier it is for you to make offers to your audience that they say yes to. So the more people who know you, the more sales you create for yourself. As an added benefit, having sales conversations is much, much easier when you focus on creating trust ahead of time with meaningful content. I love doing these interviews. I love doing these live streams, but I'd be lying if I said the only reason I did them was just because I enjoy it. No, they're a tremendous marketing piece for me. They're a tremendously powerful branding, positioning, and marketing piece. And here's the thing. To get those thousands and thousands of views, it does cost me a little bit of money, but it only costs me pennies. It only costs me pennies on the dollar compared to any other way of gaining eyeballs. So I want to share with you a little bit about this. This will by no means be comprehensive because the system is sort of common sense, but it has some technical aspects to it as well. But in a nutshell, if you want to start reaching an audience that is 50 times bigger than what you have now, 100 times bigger than what you have now, 500 times bigger, 1,000 times bigger, all you have to do is start boosting your content from your page. I make the assumption that you know the difference between a page and a profile on Facebook. And so if you don't know the difference between a page and a page is a business instrument that Facebook gives you for free. It looks like a profile, but it has a couple of features that a profile doesn't. So the page is a business tool on Facebook. It allows you to make offers. It allows you to have unlimited people on it. It allows you to track the audiences that come there and pay attention to your content. And so in the last probably year and a half, I have reached an audience of close to 2 million people, well over 3 million impressions, and probably about 1.8 million people who have actually seen my content. Now, a lot of people will tell you that's a waste of time. That's a waste of energy. And I will tell you that those people don't know how to turn that into clients. It's that simple. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of energy. The law holds that the more people who know you, the more people will be ready to buy from you. The more people that know you, the bigger audience you can get in front of, the more prospective clients you will have. It's that easy. And so building yourself a page and starting to put your content on your page and starting to boost your content just for like $1 a day, literally $1 a day. Excuse me. And you can start to grow your audience exponentially, geometrically. You can start to grow your audience and take it from a few hundred people or a few thousand people to tens of thousands of people right away. Now, in my own business, from 2018 to 2019, just doing this, flying in the face of all the gurus and everything they teach, all I did was begin to boost my content on my page. And my income, what is it called when it multiplies by 5? Is that quintupling? It had literally quintupled. I think quin is 5. So it literally went from 1 to 5 times that in a year. From 2018 to 2019, I quintupled my income. I didn't take the strategy any further than just what I would call awareness. So everybody talks about how you've got to have ROI, right? You've got to be able to track your ROI. It's not true. Being able to track and measure your ROI on some things is very important, but there's a sort of a subtle art form to indirect ROI, which is another way of talking about your personal brand. And your personal brand is something that is not something you do directly. You don't put $1 into it hoping to get $3 back. You put time, energy, and money into it knowing that in time, the rewards will be massive. I mean, how many of you can say that you've had a year where your income 5x'd from the year before? It's pretty unheard of. It's pretty unheard of. And so this simple act of frequently and consistently boosting your content on your page for even as little as $1 a day will start to bring hundreds of thousands of people bring you into their awareness. They'll become aware of you. Some of them will come to follow you. Some of them will come and like your page. Some of them will come and like your profile. So when they like your profile or like your page or in any way meaningfully connect with you, Facebook shows them more of you. This is how it works. I interviewed a fella named Dennis Yu a couple of weeks ago, who is an absolute genius at social media marketing and digital marketing. And he made a great point. He said, use the algorithm the way it was designed to be used, which is as a social amplifier. Instead of trying to hack it and sort of get around the algorithm and trick it, just use it the way it's meant to be used. The algorithm favors social interaction. That's what it favors. So use it for that. And if you got to spend a few bucks to get the social interaction rolling, so be it. Because ultimately, you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people aware of you, aware of who you are, what you do, and they're going to decide. A percentage of them will absolutely and inevitably decide that they like you. And of those, you want that group of people to be as big as possible, because of all the people that I should say trust you, of all the people that trust you, 1% to 3% are probably ready to buy when you make an offer. So this is how it works. Now, there's more to it than this, as I said in the beginning, but what I want you to understand is your focus in this new normal, which I think is a BS idea and BS statement. But let's face it, things are shifting. And if you're moving online or you're getting serious about online, you need to get serious about awareness. You need to get serious about having people know who you are. Hundreds of thousands of people. You need to get serious about having hundreds of thousands of people know who you are. I want to show you a slightly antiquated, slightly out of date, let's see, number from, this is from one of my ad managers that got shut down. And this is at the time it got shut down. I want you to see how many people I had reached. 990,850. That's almost 1 million people. I had reached 990,850 people for a grand 2 million impressions for a grand total of $10,000. And that was spent across well over a year. So it costs almost nothing to reach 1 million people. You see? So this is what I want you to be aware of. I want you to be aware of when it comes to moving your business and getting serious about, showing up online. Awareness is a huge, huge piece of it that no one talks about. I am thinking about offering my personal branding program at a discount. I don't like the word discount. I feel like it devalues what you're doing. But I recognize that, there are a lot of people who would love to get a head start on this stuff who may not have the full investment. So I'm thinking about offering it for a while at a discount. If this is something that sounds good to you, if you'd like to know more about what I've just talked about here and how I 5x'd my income, if you'd like to see step by step how it's done with a game plan that can get you there, just let me know. Just make some, drop a comment or reach out to me. I want to kind of test the market to see if it's ready, if it's interested in an offer of my personal branding program at a deep discount. Consider it a coronavirus gift. Consider it my help with the stimulus. I need to know if there are people out there who are interested and I want to do this. So let me know, get in touch with me and tell me it sounds great or whatever. I will show you how to reach hundreds of thousands of people and how to make many, many more times the income you're making now. that's what I'll do for you. Okay. All right, you guys. Thanks a lot. That's it for me today. That's a good one. I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you'd like to know how to grow your awareness, grow your audience, grow your personal brand, and start to make multiple times what you're making now, let me know. Okay. All right. Thanks.